is a leaky gut? How does the gut become leaky?
Yeah, great question. And in fact, we're doing a large-scale human clinical trial on that right now. And I have some great pilot data already. We're doing it with the University of North Texas. So if you imagine the gut lining, okay, the gut lining is the actual true separation of the inside and the outside of the body. Now, most people think your dermal layer, your skin, is a separation of the inside and outside of the body. That's actually not true because, of course, we have all these wonderful orifices all over ourselves, right? Our nose, our ears, our mouth, you know, everything else. And all of these orifices are covered by something called a mucosal layer. Okay, so it's covered with mucus. As you know, that's snot and mucus that comes out of your nose. Your esophagus, your gut lining, everything's covered by mucus. And then underneath the mucus layer is something called the epithelial layer. The epithelial layer is a single layer of cells. It's a very, very thin layer, but it's where all disease starts and where health and disease happens. Okay, so that's the true lining between the outside and the inside of the body. Anything on this side of the mucosal and epithelial is actually the outside of the body. If it gets through, which is in the sense of leaky gut, that means it's moving inside the body and the body freaks out. So imagine a bunch of cells that stand next to each other like this, like little soldier cells. They stand next to each other shoulder to shoulder, and the space in between them is called a tight junction. Okay, so the tight junction can open and close in a dynamic function. Now, why would the tight junction ever open? Well, because the intestinal lining is also designed to absorb nutrients, right? So some nutrients are supposed to induce the opening of the tight junction so they can move in between the cells and get into the system. Now, what happens is the tight junction is supposed to close back. And there are 40 different proteins called claudin and occludin proteins that control the opening and closing of the tight junctions. What happens is when you have a lot of inflammation in your gut, when you have dysbiosis, when you have a bad microbiome, when you have a poor functioning immune system, the tight junction proteins don't function as well and the lining just stays open. And this is literally leaky gut. So literally the spaces between the cells, which is technical term is a paracellular pathway, stays open, stays leaky, so all the toxins from your gut and all the bacteria and everything else is just leaking through on a daily basis. What that does is on the other side, the inside part of the body, it's causing a huge inflammatory reaction, which then is expressed to the rest of the tissue. A great example of that